Hello everybody. So great to be here. Thank you for the warm introduction. My name is Filippo. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Commerce Layer, which is a powerful and flexible commerce engine that can be, the commerce component of your composable commerce stack. So, who in the room is? Let me see how to click this. Okay, great. No. This one. Okay. So who in the room is working on e-commerce projects like brands, agencies? Okay, cool. So you may be familiar with this diagram here. It's an evolution of how e-commerce has changed. E-commerce development has changed over the last 10 plus years. Until a few years ago, brands were used to buy an only one solution, a platform that was supposed to do everything out of the box, right? And then, the reality was and still is that these, monolithic platforms can't actually provide you everything you need. And so developers have started finding, looking for some, alternatives and ways to essentially, fix this problem. And the solution mainly is to slice this problem, slice a big problem into smaller domains, into smaller problems. And so starting from like the separation of the front end from the back end so that you can have a better, website, faster website, the gem stack, and all this, the approach that separates the two sides of the platform, and then the evolution into a composable architecture where you actually, split the monolith even farther by separating more components, by finding more domains and splitting. And I would also say that, the composability could go also into the front end with micro front ends. The benefits of this approach are many. You get a lot of flexibility, no vendor lock-in, time to market. We are discussing all these benefits during this day. But one of the most common objections that I hear from people, that this approach sounds great, but can be even, let's say, complex. I would argue that maybe these people often forget how hard it was or it is to customize a monolithic platform. It's not fun to build and customize, a platform for 2 years and creating a lot of technical debt for developers that then, with a bad developer experience, can't iterate and can't really release and ship features faster. But it makes sense if you think of the composable approach as a big bang. If you think as a big project. Like going from one to many can be intimidating. The recommendation that I always give to people who have these concerns is to take this as a journey rather than a project. So going from one to many should be a progressive approach, and this journey should start with the most important, let's say, change in your organization, which is the change of the mindset, probably the most complex, right? Changing the mind of the people, and then progress incrementally. So there is a pattern called the strangler pattern. Maybe you're already familiar with this, but essentially the approach is instead of replatforming from one monolith to another monolith, you take the monolith and you slice the monolith, you strangle the monolith by extracting existing features into external components, or maybe building new features with external components. And so you do that in many iterations, and you get from composable level 1, composable level 2, right, until the monolith is completely replaced or strangled, and or until it becomes just one of the microservices that power your composable stack. The point and the title of this talk today is that composable begins with 2 components. So when you are already at level 1 of composability, 2 components are enough to be composable. So is it the end of the journey? No, it's just the start. But you have already probably started introducing this mindset in the organization, which is again the most important part. So I want to show you how it works in a very practical example. It's we talk a lot about, we see a lot of diagrams and components, you put them together. But again, I want to go to the front end, to the product page. This is a typical product page, and let's say this is, produced and powered by a monolithic application. So how do you get started? What's the first component that you extract from this page, or how you, start your composable journey looking at this page? Well, there are many possibilities, and I will also discuss other approaches. But if you think like of at the triangle pattern and feature by feature, I would recommend starting with let's say with the quick wins or the quickest wins. And this could be, for example, replacing the way you deliver images. There are great services out there like Cloudinary or Imagex, and you can really just superpower your IMG tag, with better images, with also that can already give you faster load page time and a better experience. So when you have introduced, changed the way you deliver images, you have just solved one problem. You are just at the first step of your composable journey, but you still see benefits and you still, see ROI. The second step could be like, replacing the search engine, potentially with a micro front end. So you have a search box, and you replace that with tools like Algolia, or maybe you look at the open source world with Melisearch or Orama, for example. So this can be the next step, and you can superpower your search engine. The third, the one that I like more, is commerce. And with Commerce Layer, for example, you can, by keeping the monolith, so by keeping what you have in terms of catalog management and the website delivery, you can introduce an engine that allows you to, inject prices, availability messages, and the buy button, cart, checkout, with an engine that allows you to scale faster and to, ultimately build a better checkout experience, order management, and then, increase your conversions. And again, at this stage, you still have a monolithic, let's say, website, right? Another component could be identity, for example. You want to replace your, identity management with a tool like OptOut0, and then, build a more secure website in this way. And last but not least, changing the design, redesigning the website, and changing the website architecture, introducing a headless CMS. Many people think of this as the first step. I always recommend to consider one aspect, that when you start with a headless CMS, you actually need all the other components to be headless. And so if you are sitting on a monolith and you want to introduce a headless CMS, you need to adapt the monolith. And so you may want to start with, by making other components API first and then introducing the headless. And also here, there is a world of possibilities between Storyblock, Contentful, Sanity, Data CMS, Directus, and sorry for those who I am not mentioning, but there are so many and they are all great. So yeah, this is slicing the monolith and doing it on the front end. You start the composable journey with two components. You pick what makes sense. The first one is what makes more sense to you, and there are also other alternatives. So this is like a feature by feature replacement, but there are other alternatives that we see a lot among our clients. So for example, if you are running an international e-commerce website, one good approach could be to start and go incrementally country by country. Or if you have a multi-brand website, or actually if you are in a multi-brand organization and each brand with its own stack, with its own platform, you can go brand by brand, or maybe you can go horizontally and potentially using Commerce Layer to power the cart and checkout experience and to aggregate that functionality across all your brands while maintaining the brand identity. So again, there are different ways, but it's not that hard to get started, especially when you follow a step-by-step approach. I write about composable commerce, on my spare time. I also write on a blog, which is commercefordevs.org. I encourage you to have a look and subscribe if you like what you read. And yeah, let's see. Thank you. I hope it was helpful.